comes to children, right? Having 2 of my own.
We lost one camera.
Oh,
really?
No. That's okay. I'm not in this.
Is it this one now?
Yeah. You don't have to smile.
It's okay.
Okay.
That's not me. It's good.
Yeah, so a lot of it's going to be anecdotal evidence, right? When it comes to what's going on in our households with our children. So when you try and give an opinion or a suggestion, a lot of times people will be like, well, who the hell's this person, right? But it's like, well, I'm just telling you, what I've experienced, right? So the one thing, though, with that, Nick, it's like, even though we feel one way, we have to accept that people feel another way, right? Like, so there's going to be people who hear what you or I said, and they're going to be like, well, look at these assholes, right? Like, they may feel like that, right? But again, it's just a personal. Again, it's almost weird that you have to kind of like put a disclaimer in there, like, hey, we're not being mean, but this is what we believe.
You shouldn't have to explain what you do and feel.
No.
You're not really.
It comes down to intent, like I said.
You're not pushing it
I'm not
on.
being
You're not
malicious.
saying, well,
No.
you should do this.
But that's what they do, though. They push. They being the way I'm pointing with my hand. My left. Yeah, left. Right? They push.
Why?
Dominance, control, power.
To convince
addictive.
themselves?
To convince themselves? Maybe.
Yeah.
But it's
Well, I think what we are describing as traditional, we fail when we stop doing what we know is right. And we want to kind of conform. And when someone says, oh, you have 4 kids, what's wrong with you? And I'm like, yeah, I don't know, it's a surprise.
You have 4 kids, sorry?
Yeah.
Wow, good for you.
My girlfriend is of a family with 4 kids too.
Yeah, there's other people that have 4 kids.
Yeah.
You want to name them?
Is this the Roast Nick podcast or what?
Yeah, you do a good job of that
Can't even
yourself.
talk to you
Yeah,
much.
you gotta be picked. You gotta get picked and prized. Wow, good for you, 4 kids.
Why did you have 4 kids?
You wanted to, or oops, one or the other.
Glad me in the game.
Literally.
Do you like having 4 kids?
I like. Yeah, of course.
No,
Do you like your kids? All of them? Equally, yes.
Well, Greg likes one kid more than the other.
Hey, that's my daughter is a very special thing, right? My son, the jury's still out.
Isn't that interesting though?
But that's a psychological thing, and I've had friends.
It's not even psychological.
No, but like I've spoken to like PhD type psychologists that I know, and they're like you're not, because I came to a point where it's like, am I choosing one over the other? Like, am I? And they said it's completely normal for the male to do that with the daughter, and for the mom to kind of baby the son. So I have a good relationship with my son. There's no doubt, but like the relationship with my daughter, it's like it's a different thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's completely different. It's like my favorite thing on earth. There's nothing more I love.
Do you think that would evolve over time?
Yeah.
Well, I guess what I'm really asking is, do you think as your son gets older and your daughter gets older that maybe it'll switch?
Perhaps. But I know that I'm so confident in my ability as a father because I've made so many mistakes in my life that I dedicated myself to being the best father I can possibly be. So I know I'm not nearly as concerned about the way that they're developing, because Nick can tell you, like, my kids they're not typical in terms of how they behave, how they interact with people, their diets. It's very different in my household. So obviously things are going to evolve and change, but I don't think it changes the daddy-daughter relationship.
Yeah, and it shouldn't.
No. You got to protect that at all costs.
Yeah.
Which is another challenging thing right now. Protect at all costs.
Yeah. Do you guys watch Disney movies?
I have.
Like the princess films.
Yeah, they're all daddy issues, aren't they?
Is that right?
It is weird. I've noticed
They all
that.
have a little programming.
Yeah,
Really?
It is. That's the world in general. If we even come full circle, it's about, again, it's the way it's being perceived in the media. It's like they throw these things out there to make people seem less than of, right? Like, but a lot of things are that. It is conditioning. It is social programming. And to suggest that it's not, I think it's foolish. Like, you're not a crazy person if you're tapped in and you can see this. If you can see it,
Mm-hmm.
you know what's going on.
So if you see it and you can't argue the fact that it's there, why is it there?
Powerful people that have an agenda.
Yeah.
That's my guess. I'm not. I don't know.
I
I don't have an
I
answer.
think it's more than a guess. It's logical.
Yeah,
I mean, they're trying to destroy what we kind of know works.
Yeah.
Why?
I think it goes back to, again, control, power,
Mm-hmm.
right? Divide and conquer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we have, here's another thing, we're going to the health world route, sorry. We have people, I would say this country is, North America, 40-50% of the people are obese or overweight. Is that a fair
Around 40, yeah.
50? Okay.
By
At least
BMI?
overweight.
Or
Well,
like,
BMI is,
Yeah.
but okay, let's just say, man, if you can't see down there, you got like there's like a flap you can lift it and play with it. Either way, your waist, the circumference of your waist is extremely large, right? Things are difficult, your blood markers are a little odd, right? Like those kinds of people, I mean, right? We know what we're talking about here, right?
I'm still with
You're still with me?
Yeah.
Okay. So when they say, the general society or things are safe, the general society, things are normal, general society, like the general society is not healthy. That's not my measuring stick.
Mm-hmm.
This is why I invest in my health. Like I pay people outside of OHIP professionally to monitor my health.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So when you say why are we in this situation? Well, look at our society. We're very nihilistic. We've lost a lot of hope, right? We're unhealthy.
Mm-hmm.
Processed food. There's a person on Joe Rogan one time said it. It's great. Processed information, bad for you, just like processed food is for you. So it's very easy to take. You give all these things, all these luxuries. I made an interesting observation recently. I told Nick about it. There was a family that I know who came from Syria. They were housed in Toronto from Syria. And obviously coming to Canada from Syria, it's a much better situation. There's no doubt about that. And obviously they weren't treated the same there. But I have noticed in the 2 or 3 years they've been in Canada, they've all become severely obese.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. Like
Why?
Because that's just what we are. It's a
environment,
facade.
Do you think
The first world
their
facade.
diet changed a lot?
Of course.
Oh my god, yeah.
The reason I say this is because I've had a lot of patients that come from different countries, and they maintain the same cuisine, but they've
Yep.
gained a lot of weight.
Because the food is different.
Yeah.
And it's what's in the food,
Mm-hmm.
right?
And they have a hard time like, we're eating the same, but I'm like 20 pounds heavier.
Mm. Also comes like different. We know the importance of sleep, right? So perhaps now living in a place like Canada where different stressors, right? Like I don't know, but I do think that it's something with the food, right? Which is why I'm so anal and adamant about proper nutrition when it comes to children. Back to that, right? And Nick can speak to that too. Like to me, nutrition is one of the, even though it's very difficult, the easiest things to like diagnose. Like it might be hard. Like I have this problem with me. I have this problem. Well, things have to be done. But if you're eating Tim Hortons for breakfast, Subway for lunch, and McDonald's for dinner, you're a slob.
What happens if you're not? What happens if you're just eating a traditional, like, I buy my food, I make it at home, I eat?
How much of it are you eating?
Well, okay, that's one question.
Right? Like, are you eating like?
Let's say their calories are okay.
Okay, well then you have to look into that, right? You got to dig deeper.
Well, I get what I'm pointing out is there is just an issue with what we consider good food.
Oh, for sure.
And what is sold in the average
Yeah.
store, most of it is garbage.
Yeah.
And also, it's very cheap.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Processed
saying,
food
right?
is very cheap,
Yeah,
right?
sort of, yes.
It's easier to get by with a family that kind of.
But I find the grocery bill, when you shop on the outside, it's a lot lower
You mean
than when
outs-
you start venturing into the inside,
Oh.
where all the processed stuff is. I mean, there's a lot of bloat. There's a lot of extra, like, hidden costs, or things that it's like, the value in the nutrition, it's like, I spent $4 on this, but it's nothing. It's just, it's snack food because I'm bored.
Right.
There's nothing here.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think if people can easily spend $20 a day on cigarettes, or $500 a month at a club, or every weekend, like you can do that with food too. To me, that's
Well,
like,
I said it to Greg when he mentioned to me the Syrian family that he knows of, and that became overweight after a couple of years living in Canada. It's like, welcome to North America, the land of diseases of abundance, overabundance. That's what we die of in North America. The diseases of overabundance.
Mhm.
Canada, the number one killer is heart disease and then cancer, or
Why
the other way
why
around.
do you think people overconsume?
The culture.
Boredom,
Is it just so
Boredom.
boredom, it's not just because it's there.
stress.
No. It's just a culture.
And the stress, what stress changes when you move here?
Oh my god.
Because a lot of people move here because they are in a very stressful situation.
Until they get here, and then it's a different thing. Again, I'm not comparing Canada and Syria. I'm not,
Mhm.
but it's different.
Well, what's the
Especially
stress in living in Canada? The cold?
right now, or just in
In
general?
general.
Well, in general, that's different. Right now, it's
Well, maybe it's the rat race.
yeah, of course, yeah, that's a given. I apologize. You're right. Yeah, that's a given.
I mean, a lot of people, they're like,
But a lot of
how
people,
much is enough money to live?
but a lot of people come here and they're not even working too, though.
Well, that's what I stress about. How much is enough money to live?
Well, that's because you're young.
It's because I'm young, and it's because I see the prices of everything around me constantly going up.
Yeah, I remember when gas was 40 cents a liter.
How long ago was that?
20.
100 years ago.
No, but like
Yeah,
the average price of a home has risen $300,000 since 2015.
Mm-hmm.
That's insanity.
Live with your parents.
Sorry, my parents. I don't want to live with my dad my whole life.
But, well, I didn't say your whole life.
No, I
But see,
live
you
with them
judged
now.
it. See, I mean, not pick on, not
Pick on.
necessarily you,
Yeah.
but there is a sentiment that I kind of want what I want when I want it.
Mhm.
And most people can't have that.
Don't get me wrong. I understand.
Too late.
I understand the value of working hard and saving up for something bigger. That's why, like,
Well, that's the thing. People always want something bigger.
absolutely,
Yeah, like you buy a house, and the first question people ask is like, "Well, when are you going to get something bigger?
exactly.
When
Yeah.
you move out?"
Yeah, that's what Nick did to me the first time he seen me.
I never said
Yeah,
that.
I
Like,
bet.
I know, but that was the first thing.
Woodbridge boy, eh?
That's the first thing you mentioned. He's like, "You want something bigger?" I'm like, "No."
Where's your pool?
No, but you know,
my
like,
family's content. We're happy.
I don't have a car, right? Greg says, "Why don't you get a car?" Like, I don't understand.
Like a
what's wrong with-
beater.
A beater, even a beater. I don't want to pay for a beater. It's a waste
I'm
of
not
money
talking
for
about
me
a
right
big
now.
investment. I'm
I don't care.
I mean, don't you want to drive?
I
right?
drive and
No, he gets driven.
no.
So
I,
chauffeured.
no.
As opposed, I'm saying, even though it's a depreciated asset, cars
My
are
parent-
garbage.
my parents have a car each, so whenever a car's free, I take it.
But ask him how good he can drive.
I drive spectacularly.
Don't ever get in a car with him.
I'll drive you
Stop sign
somewhere.
is.
Ask him how many times he's a
Stop sign. What's the
passenger
stop-
driver.
what's the
You're
stop
talking about
sign?
men and women. This guy's the passenger driver when he's with his girlfriend.
Does your girlfriend drive you around?
No, I would
Oh.
not let that happen.
It's-
Well, no, like, I mean, if she has to drive me somewhere, then like, I don't have a problem with that. But like, I wouldn't say, Valentina, come pick me up and drive me here. I would not say that.
But when you're together, she's driving.
No, sometimes I drive, sometimes she drives.
This doesn't look good.
Why?
You know,
I don't know. There's something wrong.
What's wrong, Dr. Gonzalto?
Stick out your tongue, and I'll tell you. Underneath, daddy issues. Too much Little Mermaid growing up.
Actually, that's her favorite movie, not mine. I like Hercules.
can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
ND. You're an ND. What is your opinion now of the riff between like MDs and NDs, or at least like on social how it's presented? Like again, all respect. I have an ND. I love you guys, all that. But a lot of times people will lump you in with like the crystal healing people.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that? And like,
I'd rather talk to the crystal healers
I feel you. I love your answer, but I'm
because they're willing to listen.
right. So what's your opinion of the current like medical landscape in Canada? Like
Well, okay. So
COVID and-
the most basic way of saying it is we have a system that makes sure that you don't die today,
right.
and that's probably good enough for most people, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But they also don't like to pay for things.
I'm fine with that. I'm content with paying for things.
So like we got spoiled in a sense, thinking like everything is free. Like
Yeah.
I mean, surgeries are free. Like you go to the emergency room. Like that's we're lucky to have that kind of.
Kind of.
But then because when I grew up having like I had one or two medical doctors that I would, that took care of me, and I idolized them because they knew me. They took whatever I needed. They were there. They were reliable. That's like what I grew up understanding a doctor's supposed to be. That doesn't exist anymore.
No.
The system has changed to it's like they're sort of like intermediary.
How so exactly though?
Because if you have a concern, they kind of look at you for 2 minutes and they're like, yeah, I'm going to
Send
send
you
you to someone.
specialists.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's sort of a hands-off, like, and this is where we have a litigious society where everyone gets sued for something
Mhm.
and everyone's afraid of screwing up. So it's like, I don't want to send you to a specialist. So I mean,
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
no, it's okay.
Thank you. So my a little bit more.
Is this a bio again?
I know, right?
The intro. Yeah.
I'm interesting, so
How
I
old
think
are you?
Hey,
24.
can I give you a little tip? When he's playing with you, you play back. Banter.
I'm not as good as banter with you as you are, okay?
Sorry, what you did was banter?
Yeah.
You had like a little mini meltdown.
Did I?
Like, you even scrunched your can. It wasn't even
I
open
didn't
yet.
drink this. It's right here. It's completely,
It's
sealed.
not a trap.
I know.
You can take it home with you.
No, it's okay. I can drink this.
But don't you think, like, as an ND?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's just being nice.
No, I know he's being nice, but like,
No, I'm not being
it's not a sugar in here.
Okay, so is this amount of sugar going to kill you?
No, it's not. But it's
Oh.
processed sugar, and it's horrible for you.
No, but
Is
if
it
you, if
right
you,
now, today?
if you have a
Yeah.
case of it
Oh,
every
I don't
day.
have a case. They only brought 3.
But you know what I'm saying.
No.
But a personality. We just spoke about that. If there's a kid at home right now, Fortnite on his phone, Uber Eats.
I like
Coke every day.
Fortnite. I like Uber Eats. I like
And
Coke.
he likes
I
Coke.
understand, but
And what's the missing ingredient for these kids? Moderation.
Moderation.
And knowing limits.
You're right.
And
100%.
like, so the education of knowing it's good and what's bad, but then it's like, should you never have it?
No, I'm not saying that.
Sometimes
Moderation
that's
is
a
everything.
fear statement.
No, because then
and then there's a rebound. It's like, I have a can of Coke a day and I don't tell my parents because they get mad.
No, it's true, and it develops like a fear anxiety. So Nick knows, like, I don't know if I call myself like a hypochondriac, but like I lost my mom to cancer young, so cancer is very scary to me. But like when people are like, "Oh, you're like that," but I'm not like a germaphobe. Like I'm not like COVID has not scared me the least, right?
Mhm.
But I was diagnosed with a health anxiety, right? So that's why I'm so like prudent and adamant about proper nutrition. But you're right. What drove me to a point of like literally a breakdown was my over hyper focus, and then I have to credit like my personal nutritionist, who's someone like that I go to for a lot of like help and advice. Like he really broke down moderation to me in a different way, right? And that's
Can
the
we
key.
translate that to like life?
Of course. Yes.
How?
The only reason why I harped on we're joking about the can is because we know in society today, you having one, we know that one can a week's not going to do anything.
Mhm.
But it's the people that are having the case of it in a day.
Yeah, well, screw them, right?
Right? Damn right, screw them, man, 100%. But that's what I meant. But go ahead, bother Nick.
I think he wants you to talk.
I was gonna say before I got on this, I was just gonna say talking about NDs versus MDs. When I got out of my undergraduate, I went to Europe for Ken.
Did you ask him this? Why he dropped it? Sorry, why he?
The vaccine thing.
Yeah,
Wow,
I
you just jumped right into it.
I messaged like we conversed.
It's more than that, though. You felt that the medical, like your dream, really let you down on what these people are willing to
Yeah,
basically surrender to and
yeah. So
ethically.
Just say it. You want? He's giving you all the. He's trying to.
so after my undergrad, I
Just
knew
carry back what I wanted to say originally. Interrupted 4 times. Yeah. So
I knew I wanted to get into medicine, but I didn't know whether conventional medical school or naturopathic was right for me. So to kind of
my answer would be whoever lets you in.
you know, at the end of the day, yeah, it's true. But anyways, I chose to do a master for 2 years in kinesiology at York just to kind of have that on my resume. So even if I did want to go to the conventional medical,
Did you do MCAT?
I did not write the MCAT.
No, I did.
I didn't write. Oh, you
How'd
did.
do?
I did. I did twice. The first time I did well. Just my verbal was like a 7, which is too low.
Really?
Yeah.
Your verbal skills seem well to me.
Yeah. So
He's
I'm
sharp.
older now,
He's sharp, he's
and I also ran out of time. It's like all those essay questions.
Yeah.
And then I did the next year. I got like an N9 in verbal. So, but whatever. I got the CCNM and I got 5 rejection letters from U of T. And
Oh,
all
yeah.
those. So I'm like, oh, CCNM it is.
Yeah. So that
So you tell
wasn't-
me if you would have gone into medical school, you would have gone that route.
Oh yeah.
But then doesn't that take away from like what you are offering to your client, your patients? Like they come to you, they hope that there's some sort of, I guess, passion or love for what you're doing. But you're basically saying, I would have rather have gone this route.
You can be a passionate MD who is open to natural healing
Well, for sure.
and can prescribe pharmaceuticals in a just and like in a reasonable, conservative way.
Mhm.
But to be really honest, in defense of a lot of MDs, their hands are completely handcuffed.
Yeah.
They don't have that freedom.
I agree.
They are no longer artists of medicine.
Yes.
Yeah,
They
a lot of
are
them don't
just-
care about that either, though.
Pardon?
A lot of them don't care about that, about being handcuffed.
That's a problem with the socialized
Well, that's
country.
because that's being resigned. It's like, well, I'm lucky to be an MD, but like, I don't want to do this, but I have to follow.
That's a problem with Canada. We've seen this even with like teachers, right? Like, not to jump around, but they're told, and then that's it, right? Like they are handcuffed. Because I've always said, when prior to COVID, there was always this talk about teachers wanting more money, and I'm not saying they don't, have a hard job and none of that, but show me it. When I ask anybody who wants to be a teacher, why do you want to be a teacher? I never get, I want to like groom and mentor young minds and like be the next great thing, right? It's always, I want to go on vacation. I want to go on vacation. I get that all the time.
I never heard of.
I get summers off. No, you're lying. I get summers off.
I'm not
I get
lying.
good benefit. Tell me that doesn't come up. The summers off.
I
the
don't
benefit.
argue that's, that's a.
It's never about the kids first. Is my point. Ever.
Uh,
Ever.
Okay, maybe that's your experience.
We can move these tables and get down about it, but like, I'm kidding. Yeah, no, that's the first thing I personally.
That would be cool. We should do a wrestling episode.
You used to be a wrestler.
He mentioned that. It's
In a short bio. This is my buddy's show. Let's wrestle. Yeah. Listen, we're not going back to the bio. That's done. Okay.
So when you were at Holy Cross, don't nod. We're not going back to the past. So what kind of ND do you want to be? Because there is no specialization, but there is.
Yeah.
Do you? Okay, so I that's a loaded question. Why be an ND?
Well, as I was going to say about my background, but apparently I can't talk about my background. No, okay, so...
You always have to start at the beginning?
Right.
Yes, because at least some were great. Okay, so I did my master's. The first year of my master's was the first year of the pandemic. And during my master's, I intended to decide what I wanted to do, whether it was naturopathic or conventional. The woes of the public health system that I experienced absolutely turned me off. How my family doctor treated me absolutely disgusted me, and I knew that there was only one route for me that was in line and congruent with my beliefs, and that was naturopathic medicine. Huh?
I'm gonna pop your bubble.
Why?
NDs.
Mm-hmm.
If you close your eyes and
This won't
you're
hurt
an
as
MD, and you have an ND and an MD speaking,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's hard to hear or figure out who's speaking
Okay.
because they start talking the same.
I don't believe that.
You're gonna find out.
No way. The vast majority of my experience with conventional medical doctors is horrible. Listen, I'm not saying all of them do. Brother, no diciendo. Speak up.
I'm saying like you're going to find out some of your hard fact beliefs don't hold up all the time. You may have to be the guy that you believe as an ND,
Mm-hmm.
like what they stand for. You're gonna have to fulfill it.
I
You're
will.
not necessarily gonna find it.
But he is that
fine.
type. That's
I
the
am
one
that type.
thing. He's very passionate, and that's the one thing. Because like I am older than Nick, but the one thing that struck me was his passion and his devotion. Like people his age, their vices are very different, and he's not like that. So
This is part of the reason why I wanted to have this conversation, because I wanted to get to you before you went there.
Where?
Wherever you're going. Just to preface that, like, you're going to get your heart broken the first year.
yeah.
What do you mean? How? My
Um,
courses?
No, let him go through it. Don't give him nothing. Let him go through it.
Because I wanted someone to tell me this.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
And it's like, well, and it's interesting because I used to do a lot of IV therapy and a lot of like cancer patients, and I don't do it as much anymore.
Why?
It got hard,
Okay.
and I think what's that?
Probably
hard? Why
probably
hard?
dealing with it, seeing it every day.
and I think that what I was hoping for, I don't want to go into details, but I want
The
what I
outcomes weren't
hope.
what you wanted.
What's that?
The outcomes weren't as
No, I don't necessarily mean that, because you have to have a realistic,
Yeah.
like you have to know that you're not going to save every
Yeah.
patient. That's part of it. But I think there was an opportunity for things to improve in terms of access to treatment and what we can provide, and that isn't there.
No, but I just think of every individual. Okay, how can I say this? Because I respect your position and I get it. I'm not trying to Do you believe in your heart all the measures that are being taken are the right?
No one believes that. Not even the people enforcing them.
Good. Okay. So that's that.
But they are being enforced.
But that's also
and,
the problem.
and I think they're
with
being right. So Canada,
Because in the U.S.
the identity of Canada has welcomed this.
Yeah.
The identity of Canada is made up of every citizen.
Yeah, okay, but so is the U.S. though. Okay, but what do you mean by every
The
citizen?
U.S. is more fractured.
What do you mean by every citizen though?
Every person,
Like every culture?
every single person in the country has an impact.
Okay.
Like, you know, okay, so I had the analogy of a magnet. Do you know how a magnet is made to be a magnet? There's all little mini dipoles that the more that they're aligned, the stronger the magnetism to the point where it's actually able to attract metal.
Okay.
And the more it becomes magnetized, the more there's a consistency in what the dipoles are doing. Everyone's kind of facing the right direction.
Right.
Because I would say that the vast majority of people here want the same thing.
But how much are you willing to give up to
Which
get
is
that?
what though?
No, I won't say give up. I think that there's a lot of people who want all the same things but don't know how to do it, or they want to do it in different ways. Some people want to be rebellious, some people want to riot, some people want to have quiet conformity, some people want to refuse and just let everyone know about it. I think the problem is deeper because there's so much broken behavior. Like every person has been compromised.
So would you agree that this has become now almost more of like a mental health crisis?
I think this is very much the spirit of the country is in question.
Okay, so how do we change that? How do we correct that?
I think we need to start to, on an individual level, conduct yourselves in a way that is of the utmost morality.
Most people, I mean,
But people aren't.
yeah, but again, morality is subjective.
To
Right.
your best understanding.
Okay.
I know that's such a what is that gonna do?
Well, that's why I put myself in the predicament that I did, because I believe.
What predicament?
Well, I dropped out of my master's because I was not willing to conform to their insane policy.
You made a choice.
I made a choice.
You
Absolutely.
made a good choice.
I believe so.
If more people made choices, hard choices like that,
Okay.
things get better.
I see where you're
that's
going.
my point.
I see where you're going.
That's my point, and I.
But you can't bellyache about it.
Well, you can't, but it's hard not to.
We have to get over it.
I know, because my issue is this: it's never been with the vaccine. I think vaccines are great.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, especially for people who would benefit from them. I mean, I don't think I would, so that's why I didn't take it. I'm not gonna take a vaccine because someone else telling me to. That's psychotic to me, to be honest. But I think vaccines have benefited.
Do you think we've had issues like this before? Not called vaccines. We've had things imposed on us that we didn't want.
Like, not to this extent though.
Is it ever right? Is it ever right though?
What's that?
Is it ever right?
Is it ever right that it's done?
When things are imposed on us?
Well, give us the example, because I can't remember anything in my lifetime that's been like COVID.
I think we talked about masculinity.
Okay.
How it's like, oh, you can don't show you're too much. Like you're gonna have to water down. Like you don't want people to think that
Like
you're
men in dresses on cover of magazines. Stuff
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, but that's not the same thing. I don't think, because
It led to this.
Yeah, it's all
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
It's
yeah,
all
yeah.
that.
Yeah,
It's all
Because
that.
you get used to that,
Yeah.
and it's like,
Yes,
well,
yes.
what's the next thing you get used to?
So yes, absolutely,
So you
and
need to dial it back.
yes, and I also think another thing that led to this is Canadians for a long time, for decades, for generations, have just been groomed by the government to believe that the government is omnipotent, they're benevolent, trust them, they have your best interests in mind.
Shouldn't we?
Absolutely not.
No, I get how he's saying. But he's like, why would they not? Like, essentially, like the way it's being portrayed. Like, I get what he's saying. Like, I agree with you.
Right.
But like, we're supposed to assume that these people that we've elected
Why are we
in
supposed
a
to
phony
assume-
game, like, are the ones that have our best
We-
interests. We're
we-
supposed to assume they do.
We have to always be skeptical and question everything.
I agree with you. I'm agreeing with how he presented it.
Should we always be skeptical? skeptical.
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely.
you know, I
Yeah.
put some pizzas in the fridge. Is it pizza? Is it
Yeah, I'm
trying
gonna
to poison
say,
me?
Doctor Ganasoto, is this what is this gluten free? Is this really gluten free? Is this a sticker that you just put on
Well,
there?
I'm not going to do that, but I get what Nick's saying. I think it's very good to be skeptical because we're slowly moving away from even wanting to question things like
When a
critical
population
thinking.
stops, when a population starts being negligent and naive, that's when
They turn the wheels tighter.
right.
Okay, so the skepticism wasn't there initially. The skepticism evolved
I
when
was
you
always
start
skeptic.
seeing.
Once
From the
data
beginning.
came out, the first couple
I
months,
was always skeptic right from the beginning.
No, I was skeptical. Hold on, I was, but no. At the very beginning, I of course we only saw literally bodies falling in China, and there was an airborne like I'm not
There was
saying
no
you're
reason
lying,
to
but there's no
believe
reason
at that
to.
time.
Yeah,
But
as soon as the-
showed you that the mainstream media.
yes. But Nick, all I'm saying is that once the data, like once a little bit of data started to trickle out, I knew what we were working with.
Right.
But I get what he's saying. Initially, you only saw one thing, so you have to assume, okay, yeah, this might be messed up.
I mean, like for sure. But even for me, like anything the mainstream media shares, what?
I heard something fall.
I don't know. Anything the mainstream media shares for me, I question everything. I don't believe a word or anything that they say. They are the enemy of the people, and they are to be questioned just like the government. The people keeps the government in line, not the
You're looking
opposite.
like V for Vendetta.
Yeah.
Even the mustache.
Hey, thanks. No, yeah, essentially, like that's how, to an extent, I think.
Yeah, I know. That becomes really uncomfortable over time for you.
Why?
Stressful.
Yeah,
I
because
deal
like
with
being
it.
chronically skeptical, even with reason,
Right.
It's literally having breaking news flashed at you constantly.
Because it is flashed at us constantly, and you always have to question it. It's like
Are
being
you
an acad-
afraid of getting the wool pulled over your eyes?
Oh, for sure.
It is. It's
That-
already being pulled over. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of things happening and you have no clue.
Of course. That's why you have to be more cognizant and watch out. Because-
Or there are some things that you can stand for and like separate, and then there's other things you're like, I just can't deal.
Pick your hill.
For
I
sure.
guess.
Yeah.
Pick your battles, yeah, for sure. But listen, if history teaches us one thing, it's that tyranny is human nature. It is. People want to rule.
Oh, okay. People in power.
Absolutely.
Yeah, power corrupts.
Yes, absolutely.
And power corrupts people that have been compromised.
Yes.
I don't think that I guess I'm suggesting in a sense that no one's an innocent victim,
Mm-hmm.
which is a hard statement.
It is, given everything that's happened, because I get where you're coming from, and I think what you've done is what I said at the beginning, is you've found a way to accept things and pivot and adjust and do what you feel is best for your own sanity, health, and that of your clients. But I get what Nick's saying, and I'm still very much on the side of agreeing with him that we do need to be skeptical, we do need to question things. As for you saying, like, well, it's not good for you, I can get what you mean by that, but people like me, maybe him, like, I've been, like, aware of the BS for quite a while, so it doesn't really faze me. I think people now who are just kind of tuning in, they're getting shattered, like cortisol spikes, like just they can't handle. I can maintain, like I'm
Right.
fine.
For example, to speak to the notion of being skeptical and questioning everything. November 24th, Dr. Kieran Moore, the Chief Medical Officer of Ontario of Health, he comes on the news and does a briefing. He's saying that hospitalizations are going up in children 5 to 11.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to believe that. So what did I do? I went on the Public Health Ontario desktop or whatever website, the tool, and I looked at it. 0. 12 days later, 0 still. Only until December, what is it, the 9th?
Mhm.
December 7th did they update it. I don't know if it was just a lag, but 3 in that age group.
Mm-hmm.
Why is he saying that?
Well, he's obviously written for him first.
Of course,
right?
but why?
First.
Why does he have to say?
Yeah,
Why-
we
why-
know
why-
why.
we know why.
We know why.
We're just not saying why.
He's just presenting things.
I'll say
he's-
why.
he's
Fear
pre-
porn. They want to maintain this control because they see this new variant now, which I have reason to believe that it's not deadly. It's definitely more transmissible. But data from South Africa indicates that it's not more deadly. It's less deadly than the Delta and the previous however many variants came before that. But what is our mainstream media and our government saying? they're spreading their fear propaganda, and it's disgusting. They should not be doing that on a population that has been overwhelmingly obedient and done the right thing. I said that in air quotes because the government defines what the right thing is. Huh?
There's a camera getting your air quotes.
So, does it shock you that most people would accept that, whatever they said?
No, that's because that's what's always happened. People don't want to interrupt their, and I'm like this too because I'm privileged and I have a privileged life. People do not want to interrupt their cushy and privileged lives.
Mm-hmm.
They want to go on relatively uninterrupted and enjoy their lives. That's why people still use the passports. That's why these people are so happy to present their phones wherever they go.
Yeah, they don't see where this is leading. That's what's scary.
They
The
don't
social
see
credit score.
Right. They don't see the
they don't see where it
implications
goes.
of that. They don't see the
COVID
implications.
is a means to bring all this stuff in.
Sure. So, the fact that most people are okay with this, is it any, go figure that they're doing
Are you okay with it?
What part? All the bad stuff? No one.
Come
no
on,
one, no
we've
one
been
can-
straight up. We're putting our necks out there.
Oh,
come on.
My next year.
I no doubt because you're talking to us.
Okay, so I think the biggest issue is the issue of the forced vaccinations and vaccine passports.
I would argue that's not the biggest issue.
What's the biggest issue?
The fact that people are okay with all these things.
There we go. There's the answer.
Okay.
Beautiful.
So you are inherently against these things.
Well, he's answered it like how he needs to answer it.
So if people, because anyone who's listening to this, they're gonna be like, you know what? If it means that this is going to bring it to the end, then I'm okay with doing this.
But they
And
did the first shot, second shot. It's gonna be Mambo number 5.
Anyone can justify anything. I'm concerned that this is
How
just
easy
the
people are
beginning,
giving
and people are going to just, they're fine with it.
I know that is concerning. I see where you're coming
It scares
from.
the hell out of me.
But the thing that's also, I said this to Nick too. It's like here's an opportunity for literally a country who's been going through literally just stress for 2 years. For some, you have now again from what we've known with viruses. Again, I'm not a doctor, but throughout history, viruses become more infectious and less deadly. That's just what happens.
the law of declining very.
So here's an opportunity for the media to basically say, "Guy, like we're really approaching this end part," but they're not. They're just continuing it, and people are just
They keep
terrified.
saying, guys, this is great news.
Yeah,
Omicron
like, things
variant,
are-
it's not deadly at all.
Yeah.
Nobody has ended up in the hospital in South Africa so far. The cases are going up, but deaths are going down in South Africa.
I think that's where I'm starting to just get annoyed because I was content for a bit. I'm like, you know what, this is the way. 80% have said this is the way it's going to be, so I'm outnumbered there. So we got to figure out a way to move forward.
So how do you change the mind of 80%?
Oh,
Well, how much of that is even real? Those numbers.
no,
No,
I
I'm just saying, let's just say that 80% of the population.
It's not our job. It's their own job. Like you said, it comes back to you, the individual. I've said COVID's a mirror.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's a good line.
You can take that.
I don't want
It's there. It's on the table.
No, I
Just leave it there. Take a pizza.
in terms of changing the minds of 80%, it's difficult. It's very obviously it's difficult.
Well, that's why I said you have to, people have to start governing themselves.
Yeah.
And that means holding yourself a little bit more accountable. It's
Yeah.
like, how much am I, do I understand what freedom is? And how much of it am I willing to give up just so that I can go on vacation?
Right. I exactly, and not even just vacation, but the movies.
Mhm.
You have to go see a movie.
And guess what? All the movies suck anyways.
Exactly.
No, if they're not Justice League or Superman,
Here we
then
go.
yeah, they do suck.
You can play the end theme music now if he's going to start talking superhero crap.
No, but it's true. Like I
You're a DC guy.
I love DC, yeah. But I hate Warner Brothers because they butchered that cinematic universe.
It's a hard universe to cinema.
I'm my own superhero. I don't look at these weird comic people.
Greg Man.
Yeah, there's definitely
Is your middle name?
Greg is my middle name. My first name's Anthony.
Okay.
Just Italians will go by our middle name, a lot of us.
Yeah, my middle name's Gino.
Hey,
Hey.
and you're calling us Genos.
I think Guido.
Say Guidos.
What's your middle name?
Vito.
Vito or Vito?
Well, if you're a Kate, you're Vito.
Well, that's racist. They're kind of.
Corleone.
Vito Corleone. But no, what's hard for me is this. I don't know how much time we have.
We
left.
don't have a lot. Clearly, he wants to see his family.
No, whatever. I know what they look like.
What's hard for me is I see people around me, like my family that I love and I care for, and they've seen my not my struggle, but like they've seen my fight, and
They ever go like, why?
oh yeah,
Why are you doing this?
oh
to
my
yourself?
god, yeah, but I can't.
I can't
Yeah,
stop getting worked up about it.
no, I can't. And
But you keep feeding them information.
No, but it's just like I say, I'm trying to be out of respect for your podcast. I'm happy we haven't released war, but I tell them, I just say, F it, like fuck them. Let them do. You wanted them to respect our choices. We got to respect theirs.
No. It's not about anyone's choice to vaccinate or not.
I just mean don't you get worked up about it.
No,
let them go to the movies. Let them go on
But see,
vacation.
that's the problem. People.
I'm not saying, but we're not like he said. How are we going to change 80%? So if you're not going to partake
It
in those
wasn't
things,
a resigned question.
no, I understood.
I
but
think we could.
I'm not saying we can't.
That's my goal. That's
but
why.
I'm just suggesting your way will work.
Him not going to the movies is not changing.
No, I'm not going to the
anybody's
movies,
mind.
But you know what? Like, I mean, that's part of it. You not going.
And me influencing those
Because
around me.
people who do go and do whatever needs to be done to go, you're just complicit.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, you don't have to like march,
Right.
but you can stand for something,
Yeah.
and people will know.
Exactly.
And that's what's great.
You don't have to put like 20 stories on your Instagram.
You like them?
Hate them.
What do you mean you hate them? That's why you contacted me.
Depressing.
Right.
Well, life can be depressing.
What's great? What's great too is I know some people who are vaccinated and they don't do the passport game. Like they did it they had to for their job.
That's how everybody should.
But they don't partake in it.
Even if vaccinated or non-vaccinated, we have to stand up against the passport, against the segregation. That's the problem. Not the vaccine.
I agree.
Sure.
Not the vaccine.
Yeah.
Sure.
The problem is positively influencing and educating those around us about the dangers of the implications of a vaccine passport and medical segregation.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
That's the horrible danger in all this.
Yeah.
That's the issue. But people they don't want to think about that because it is depressing. It is depressing.
Well, and it's stressful.
And it's
they don't have
stressful.
fun.
Absolutely.
And it's like, what's the
and
big
they want
deal?
exactly. But my whole thing is that like, listen, we've lived amazing lives in Canada, most of us, at least those in my circle.
Yeah, sure, Woodbridge people. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mentioned that 4 times.
Absolutely.
Plethora.
He doesn't understand.
Plethora. What is it going to take during a crisis like
Is you guys still eating downstairs?
my uncle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Hey, he wanted to come. I don't know why, but
Yeah.
Should brought up some pizza.
Whatever.
he actually just finished a 24-hour fast, so I don't know if he would eat
Oh my
this.
gosh, why?
I know,
Are you
right?
doing a test?
Huh?
Is he doing a test?
Once a year, whatever. Sometimes.
Once in a while,
24 hours stream.
I used to do like a couple of years ago. I used to do like 36-hour fast.
I did it every New Year's up until last year. I did 72 hours. But every January 1st, I did 72 hours.
Are you into fasting?
Just because of the challenge, not because I'm trying to. It's hard.
Yeah.
Are you into
I like doing
fasting?
challenging things.
Into it? No, I hate
Why?
it.
Why?
Starving.
It's not starving.
It's not good for my blood sugar.
Well, you're not for the doctor. You should have good blood sugar.
Mm.
That's not a job.
See, but see, you're doing what everyone else does. You paint you see something and it's like, well, it should be like this.
Mhm.
I'm not like that. I'm a paradox.
That's good.
Is
I like
it?
your approach.
It's not. It's just like it's almost shocking when people like, oh, I like how you do things. I'm like, I'm not doing anything.
That's what you're doing, though. That's what you do well. You're not trying to do anything.
Okay, well, okay, maybe that's the point. Maybe it's like just me, and like, and maybe people are not themselves enough.
How long have you been doing this?
Podcasts,
Mhm.
good ones.
Well, this is probably your best one, obviously.
Yeah, probably. And I had another one. I started
But how many
last
years?
year.
Last year? Okay.
Yeah.
You're on iTunes.
No.
What's
it's on Instagram, on YouTube.
What's your like? What do you want to get out of this, or what are you hoping to give with this like a platform?
I'm hoping that Spotify will
Give you 100
Rogan me.
No, it's not gonna happen.
No, I want 2 things. I want people to know about the clinic, and I want people to break their fixed beliefs.
I like it.
Very Rogan-esque.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't
Not
believe
really.
that. I
Why?
don't agree.
That's what Rogan does.
Yeah, I didn't know he doesn't.
Yes, he does.
Not anymore.
What do you mean? He has such an open mind.
Yeah, now he's going back to his old ways. But so Try Health is your
That's the
vision.
clinic. Yeah.
No, that's like your.
Yeah. Try. See?
How old is the clinic? I don't know if you asked.
Last June.
Wow.
Oh yeah, really?
Fresh. Happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What did you? Where were you working out of before?
I just bounced around a couple of clinics in Woodbridge. Nothing that was my own, but now here, my wife and I, we opened this.
Yeah. See, my goal is off of crypto. As soon as I graduate, I'm gonna open up my own facility.
If you do well with crypto, you don't need to work.
Well, I want to work. I want to make the difference.
Do you and your wife ever butt heads when it comes to like health related topics?
No.
No.
No. I mean, I think she's a little bit more consistent and what you guys would envision,
Okay.
and then I'm sort of like,
Meh. Comme ci, comme ça.
do we have any of those cookies in the freezer still? Gluten free,
Gluten free, yeah.
but
My strict thing with nutrition and my children is because I know it's only until I can do no more, right? Once I know they're going to go to McDonald's when they're 14, 15. But from 0 to 12 or 13, I got a stranglehold on them, right? You know what I mean? Not physically, but I can give them what I need to give them.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't bring my kids to McDonald's, but it's because
Like my kids never had even a juice box. My child's never had
no,
a
my
juice
kids
box.
have my second. She'll inhale it. It's like,
No, I don't
like,
know.
did you want me to open it? It's like it's done.
I'll just cut an orange, like the same thing. Better actually.
Yeah.
Do you live near the clinic? Like in
No, I grew up around here, but I'm in Richmond now.
Other Woodbridge boy.
Yeah.
Both Woodbridge boys.
Well, I grew up Jane and Finch.
Hey,
Really?
Well, now you like me.
No,
Yeah,
it's familiar.
yeah,
Isn't
that's-
it in Finch?
Brand Ravine.
Wait,
Aaron Ravine. I played ball hockey
boys
there.
now
I
or something?
played ball hockey there. No, he was probably there. No, actually, you're pretty young. When you 40?
40. You gonna be 43?
40? I thought Pinju had 39, 40.
43?
You're going to be 43? Oh, so you were... It wasn't like that back... You're still relatively young, but back in the day, like that area was a lot of Italians.
Oh,
Oh yeah, that's where my parents grew up.
Like Bosco, Basel back in the day was all Italians, right?
There's
Virginia
my cousins.
Patches.
What's that?
Virginia Patches was a high school in that area, right?
I don't know. I'm not that versed. I just know Persani. Just keep it
Woodbridge.
real.
You guys are Woodbridge boys.
That's all right.
Still got my blue cardigan.
Really? No, when I was in high school, we always used to be presenting soccer.
Probably. I wasn't on the team.
You weren't?
Nah.
You used to play any sports?
The only time I played organized sports is when I went to CCNM. I joined the co-ed soccer team.
Really?
Yeah, that had a blast.
What's your inspiration for these?
The gold standard.
Okay, but I'm saying collected like Muhammad Ali and then the 100-year-old. Like, is there a parallel between?
There's a contrast.
I would have put Floyd personally, but yeah.
Yeah, no, but I mean, I think Muhammad would have just destroyed Floyd.
Probably not, but he was a heavyweight, so I mean, boxing wise, skill wise, well, there's a reason
What do
why.
you need to get in a fight? I can't fight you. You're 20 pounds lighter than me.
Well, no, but the condition he was in is because of how many times he was hit.
Yeah.
Floyd doesn't get hit, right? So
Yeah, but he
Boxing.
also has a lot of tomato cans over there.
him, not Floyd. Floyd.
He got some hard competition. Maybe not everybody.
Floyd went through multiple generations, multiple
Shabala
eras.
beat the crap out of him.
Well, everyone beat the crap out of him.
Still won.
He was like the Homer Simpson. That's that episode. Okay, I appreciate your time. I'm not going to wrap up your show, but I feel like you want to get things wrapped up. So how can we? Do you have music? Do you like? Does a girl come in? Like what happens? How do we finish?
So guys, I appreciate your time, and it's the smoothest exit I've ever seen. Usually people are like, hey, you know what, this was a really good time. You literally said, let's end it.
No. I'm thinking of you. 4 children. It's after 6.
Dude, if you have to go, it's okay.
No. I'm actually solo tonight.
So why do you have the gold standard, not the Bitcoin standard up there?
Is Bitcoin the standard?
Should be.
Oh,
Should be.
See, you and your shouldas. Stop thinking and just be.
You're like the extreme side that you don't like, eh?
What do you mean?
He's right though. It's not yet that.
I know it's not yet, but I'm saying it should be.
Will it? Based on
Will it? I don't know. I can't say.
Is it easily manipulated?
Bitcoin?
Yeah,
Right now, yes.
Yeah.
Right now, what do you think it's gonna? Who's gonna give up control of that?
Well,
What was gold 10 years ago?
Where was-
Same.
right.
How much does Michael Saylor have?
Bitcoin will crash
No way. You think Bitcoin's gonna crash?
eventually.
You think it's gonna go away?
Yeah, I think something will replace it.
Yeah.
Or it'll
Whatever
just
the
be
government or the
there.
banks decide.
No.
Maybe I could be. I don't
No way. Bitcoin is here to stay.
know. So you're heavily invested, I presume, because that's what it sounds like.
No, I'm not.
Liar.
With the smirk. Remember, there's cameras, Nick. I don't have nothing to do with what he's talking
I
about.
like all the meme coins.
I don't.
Why? It's so
They're
fun.
shit.
So what?
I like hard case utility tokens
That
that do
doesn't make
things.
sense. That
Like-
sounds like
like the
Canadian
cent-
fire words.
No,
I know.
like the centralized
Like having
centralized
an
finance.
ADR.
The centralized finance is the future of finance.
No,
And
it's
so-
not.
it absolutely
It's
is.
really not.
What do
It
you
is.
take? Like as you get older, because you're not old, but supplement wise.
So you have a lot of years left.
No, you're very sharp. You're witty like that.
Yeah.
I pride myself on trying to be like that. Like, what do you
You
take
say
something?
supplements?
You say
Yeah,
good for you
supplement-wise.
for being witty at your age.
Just
That's what you
vitamin
say.
D.
That's the main thing, and I have to eat often.
Really?
Because I used to go all day without eating, and I was getting sick all the time.
Really?
So just vitamin D. That's it. Nothing else. Okay.
I would like if you're asking for a recommendation.
No. I'm
or
you.
I guess if I would recommend to someone to do something for their adrenals, a tonic, ashwagandha, withania.
We can't overdo that. Like, I used to do a lot of ashwagandha, and it's
Well, if you're when you were training,
it was just in general. And then I was told you might want to dial that back.
it would only hurt you if you were living a very excessive lifestyle and burning out and thinking that that's just going to give you a little almost like a caffeine fix.
I did more for actually calm, anxiety.
It can.
Yeah.
Because it has a bit of a tonifying effect. It supports the adrenal gland, which when it's strong, your experience of stress is a lot less.
Mm-hmm.
And when that adrenal function is depleted, that's when people come to the clinic.
Interesting.
Because that's when the symptoms could kick in.
Do you think there is a best diet?
Yeah, that's a question I've asked people. There's probably it's probably whatever is best for you right now. There's a certain diet that would agree with you, and that is based on your genetics, what you're going through right now, the season, what's available.
Yeah.
So there's not keto.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wouldn't say that. I would be you kind of need to know your body and know a TCM, Chinese medicine background, understanding. Okay, well, it's cold out, so I shouldn't be eating watermelon.
Right.
I agree with you.
Do you think that again, I don't know if this is kind of asking the same question, a ideal human diet should be...
It's the same question.
Is it? Should be centered around animal products?
Oh, there you changed it.
I think I always answer this with we have enzymes in our digestive system to break down animal protein.
Mm-hmm.
They must be there for a reason.
Right.
And if you need, there's digestive enzymes you can take as well.
There's that as well. I like giving a lot of digestive enzymes. Actually, if I was to categorize what most people suffer with is a elevated stress response or a collapse stress response, which indirectly or directly affects and disrupts their upper digestion.
Yeah, I've heard other doctors talk about that as well on podcasts, digestion.
Okay, so it's not original thought.
No, it's not. It's not. You're right.
I've watched that 4 times.
But it's not main. It's not everywhere. Yeah. But digestion is a huge problem that is not overly discussed.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree wholeheartedly.
What about exercise? Do you exercise yourself?
I just did a 1-month challenge with our personal trainer, and I worked out twice in that month. I lost weight. I had food poisoning.
Nice.
My body fat went up.
Very nice.
So it didn't work out. But I extended to another 6 weeks, so I plan on having washboard abs.
Why don't you like to exercise or work out?
Lots of time and
time.
energy.
See, that's what the kids
think,
and motivation issues.
How important do you think it is to maintain healthy musculature as you age?
Obvious.
Hold on.
So why don't you...
Hold on.
Just because I think it's important doesn't mean I have to make it a priority.
Okay.
You said something there at the end. You said lack of motivation.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to be motivated to do it?
Yes.
So what gets you motivated?
Watching Pumping Iron.
Come on.
I love that. That when I was in university, I was kind of working out, and I watched it. I had watched it before, and I watched it, and it's like, oh my gosh.
You're being funny though.
No, I'm being funny, but it's also being no.
So that's what you. So why don't you watch that every day?
Because I can memorize it after a while.
But I'm saying,
you're motivated.
Yeah, I mean, just because it motivated me once doesn't mean that it'll do it.
What means more, motivation or discipline?
Both.
Which one means more? Has to.
I mean, you kind of need both. I think I would take motivation because if I don't have discipline, but I want to do it, I'll probably do it more often than not. If I don't have discipline, then I'm probably not going to ever do it.
I think it's discipline. I used to think motivation. I think discipline is everything now.
But if you don't feel like doing it, you
Doesn't matter.
could feel.
There's days I hate doing it, and I
think
do
people
it.
who are disciplined in terms of religion, but they don't have the motivation to go to church or pray.
Yeah, that's fine, but
They don't do it.
Right.
Then what's the point?
I'm
disciplined, but I don't do it, so there's no practice.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I'd rather be motivated to practice imperfectly than to really want to do it perfectly. Because a lot of people, actually, it's a good point, because some people will be like, I want to do things so well that I get so overwhelmed. I do all these lists, I get all these plans, and I just don't have the drive to do it because it's just I don't have the energy.
Right, but we also know when it comes to physical activity, there is a direct benefit. So I'm not saying there's
always
totally going to
benefit.
yeah. So, but if you know, like, hey, you can live perhaps this much longer, like all-cause mortality drops if you're able to do 40
Well,
minutes.
now we're using statistics, and we all know
Okay, I know statistics sucks. I get that 100%, but like,
well, statistically, I shouldn't be dead. Let's go figure.
But okay, you know what I'm saying though. Anyway, the point was it's an interesting question because before it's they seem like they're the same word, but they're kind of.
No, I like the difference. There's a nuance there,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a good debate. It's something that, like, yeah, you should have both. You should be able to cultivate both and know why they're different and what they do.
So, if you want to have a dirty ass cheat meal, what's your go-to cheat meal?
No, probably like a really big steak. With
That's not a
fries.
cheat.
I said a
Okay,
cheat
fries,
meal.
yes, fries.
Oh,
No,
fries.
I'm not done. I didn't get the dessert yet.
Okay, yeah.
Well, there's like brownies with syrup and ice cream and maybe a piece of pie and a Coke.
Oh,
My ideal cheat meal.
Remember, are we still good?
My ideal cheat meal. Holy Chuck Burger. They have a burger called Georgie Porgy or something like that.
Nah, that's good.
There's
John
a-
Paolo's.
Yeah.
Woodbridge.
Yes. There's a beef burger, a lamb burger, and a fried chicken.
sounds like all the
Like a
variants.
Oh my god, it's good.
I'll have the Omicron burger.
No,
Hold the vax.
That's my type. Yeah, no vax.
What's yours?
cheat meal? Oh, since I don't have it often.
Rapini.
No, I gotta go McDonald's.
Boring.
When you have it if I have it once or twice a year,
Oh, you do?
yeah, once or twice a year. Yeah,
Bring out the red carpet.
right.
Who's here?
Red panties, all that. Not me. I'm not.
Red panties?
No, you're not gonna try and get me in something.
You heard you did it before.
I know.
That was
It
funny.
went over my head. I wasn't in the greatest state of.
That was awesome.
Yeah,
You're more off.
that makes
Hey, you're
full
good.
minutes,
Now
yeah.
I'm back. All right, guys. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having us.
I'd love to do this again.
Absolutely.
Good luck at school.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it.
I'll reach out to you if I have any.
Absolutely.
Hopefully he'll respond.
Well, of course. This is a start. Hey, it was very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you
Wish
as well.
you all the best with all your endeavors.
Appreciate it.
We gotta do this again,
Sure.
and we can really get into some stuff.
Well, I don't know if you're willing to get into some stuff.
Maybe.